sometimes, but he couldn't be here today. He still had a vacation plan. So it's actually not a bad thing, because you may not know, I actually taught him his old stuff. When Micah first arrived at the church, he was terribly withdrawn. I worked hard and finally developed this persona for him, which is what you see today. So I think I'm certainly qualified to stand in for him for this event. Now, as to the event itself, where's Michael? Oh. I wanted to say that we have, there's nothing quite so tragic as making a big decision about the next phase of your life, and for one reason or another finding out that it was not a very good one. And one thing that we thought about in putting together this program, which was put together by a committee, I'll just be upfront about that, and you have to take your chances there, is that there is the danger that when you see the warmth and the good feeling and the humor and the brilliance of this community, that you could suddenly say, oh my God, I've made a terrible mistake. And I just want you to know that this program has been designed so that this won't happen to you. I think when we're finished, you'll be not only happy to launch yourself into the next phase of your life and career, but particularly happy to get rid of this one. So that's what we're working towards. So to start things off, we have a few people who are going to sing, and a few people who are going to speak. And first of all, we're going to start with someone who I don't see at the moment, but I know he's here. I just talked, oh, he's ready, okay. Lenny Fox is going to do a talking blues, which is an art form that may not be familiar to everyone. So let me just explain quickly. It has a very specific kind of pattern, very much like a haiku with the syllables. For talking blues, I haven't really counted out the syllables, but it basically goes ra ta ta la ta 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 ra la ta la ta ta ra la la ra la la ta ta ta. I don't know how many that is, but that's about it. And it goes way back. Woody Guthrie's Talking Dust Bowl Blues. Bob Dylan on his first album is Talking New York Blues. And now our resident folklorist, Lenny Fox, with the Talking Melick Blues.
Okay, let me see. Is microphone is on, is it? Do you hear the microphone? It is on. And guitar is on. You hear the guitar? Okay, we're off to a good start. Well, if you want to be a minister, here's one way to go. You can come from Olympia, where the life is kind of slow. But your minister grandpa, who is spiritually tall, says for sure you're going to get the call. But first comes a call from, of all people, the Buddha. As a Buddhist monk, you see some light, you start to learn about living right. You learn how folks have gone astray and start to follow the Bodhisattva way. So you sit and meditate with no meat sitting on your plate. But look out at the world and think we need change and think it's time for your life to rearrange. And you wind up at Judson Church. At Judson, you're a community minister, but you look at the country and see something sinister. All the money's flowing to the 1%, and normal folks can't pay their rent. So you rush on down to Occupy, where you tell everybody about the big lie. They say we've got to play by the rules, but they must think that we're all fools. Because the rules are made by the folks with the money, and life for the rest isn't very funny. So you tell everybody to demonstrate, and maybe we can start to set things straight. And you're also thinking about our planet Earth and how we don't appreciate its worth. and how the corporations don't treat it right, and they won't until we all learn to fight. So working hard through the city you roam, but at the end of the day are glad to come home. To Alana, your lovely dancing bride, who through all your trials is at your side. But sadly, the time has come to move on from Judson. A preacher, a teacher, also a leader, fundraiser minister, liturgist, reader. You've grown and grown, so you've got to go away, but your spirit will always be with us to stay. So happy trails and much happiness to you, Michael and Alana.
I think, Michael, did you book him for your next thing? Okay. When people come here as community ministers, they are all assigned a mentor. And the next person who's going to speak was assigned to Michael Ellick, and was later, she'll tell you about this, but his mentor went through the ordination process with UCC. She is one of our most prominent UCC members. There are plenty of others, but she makes all the announcements usually. And now, just to say a few words in 3 minutes or less, is Martha Gottwalds.
Rethel's taller than me. Can you hear me? Okay. As he just said, I was invited to speak today because I was Michael's double mentor as a community minister and an in-care candidate for ordination. Poor Michael. I was under the impression that each of these mentorships required monthly meetings, so we were meeting every other week. It wasn't until later I found out few people in either situation were meeting monthly. He was so patient, though he probably knew. Sorry, Michael. Millions of memories flood my mind when I was asked to speak, but happily for you, in a true Trinitarian spirit, I will share only 3, plus 1 extra. First, does anyone remember Michael's first sermon he gave at Judson? Hands? It was very academic, very intellectual, and very, very dry. While thinking privately, have I taught you nothing? I suggested gently that people can get into a sermon better if it has a personal component. I can't claim credit, it was all him, but I think Michael now is the best preacher Judson has ever produced. Second, I will never forget when Michael came back from Chicago after attending community organizer training. He was literally aglow. He had met a very special woman. Now, to appreciate this revelation, you need to understand that Michael had resigned himself to going through life alone. Lots of friends and a loving family, mind you, but no partner to share his life with. The minute I met Alana, I rejoiced because I recognized her as an old soul and absolutely perfect for him. The rest is history. Third, kind of reflecting on the sermon today, some of my favorite times were talking to Michael about theology, but our ongoing debate was where true worship or spiritual connection happens. He said it happens individually and alone, his Buddhist side, while I always claimed it could happen in community as well. This occurred from the first time we met through his ordination paper. He'll tell you that I misunderstood what he meant, but I like to think that I, along with Judson, made a difference. Finally, for most of you, this is your first time saying goodbye, and it hurts. For me, this is a second goodbye. When you're a mentor and it works, you share the person's hopes and dreams, their fears and pain, their very life, really. But when your time together is done, you need to step back, distance yourself, and leave them to go on alone. This happens whether the person goes far, far away or is in your own church, because it's what they need to grow. Now I'm saying goodbye again, and it still hurts. But here's what I have to say to you, Judson. This is what's right for Michael. He needs to be a senior minister to forge his own path, and this new church needs him. He will carry us in his heart, and we will carry him and Alana in ours. But he needs to go on. So send him with love, send him with blessings, but let him go and be proud and joyous for what we've meant in his life and he's meant in ours.
Now, we're trying to avoid any dead air today, so if the next people would want to adjust your mics and get ready, that would be all right while I get them ready for you. And next we have Amy Van Rye, mother of Sterling Van Rye, and a performer in her own right. I'm not saying that's all. And also mother of Jules. Also, Jeff, listen carefully, Turrentine. I got it straight this morning finally. I had to ask him. I have not known, and I've just avoided saying his last name for a long time. But please remember, I know others of you have, we heard Turrentine this morning in the announcements. It's Tyne.
I thought you said you were trying to avoid dead air.
Huh? Tell me when you're ready. No. Donna is married to Warren Goldstein. That'll help you remember. And Jeff Turrentine. Okay.
Thank you.
So now they're going to sing Heaven by David Byrne.
The story with this song is, it's apparently about a gay bar on the West Coast. So maybe you can find it. Everyone is trying to get to the bar. Name of the bar is called Heaven. The band in heaven, favorite song. Play it once again. There's a party, everyone is here, everyone will leave at exactly the same time. When this party's over, we'll start again, not be any different, be exactly the same. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. Heaven is a place where nothing ever happens. When this kiss is over, we'll start again, not be any different, be exactly the same.
That was all positive, I heard correctly. Now to explain what his mother just did, and tell us what it's like to live with her, is Sterling. And why.
I'm also bringing with me Anders and Max, just because it felt right. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Sterling Van Rye. I'm the son of Amy Van Rye. I'm 14 years old. I'm now a freshman. And I've known Michael for about 3 years, starting in 2011. And he's the guy who baptized me. And kind of came to me out of the blue. He was like, hey, we're going on a retreat. Want to get baptized? So I said yes. It sounded fun. He's also the guy who's taken me out to lunch, told me how to live my life. Not exactly, you know, kind of, here's a suggestion, why don't you follow it? And so I have. Some of it's gone well, some of it's gone very wrong. But those are my memories with Michael, very brief, and I wish they could go on for longer, but sadly, I will try and visit him and escape from home. But next is Max. Okay. I remember the first time I met Michael, Sterling took me by the arm and pulled me over to the Michael line, is what I like to call it. After the sermon, there's a line behind Michael where he's talking to everybody. And so I stood in that line for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I saw his shirt, which was a Buffy the Vampire shirt, and from that moment I just knew that we were going to be friends. That's kind of it.
I'm Anders Lewis, and I unfortunately don't remember very well the first time I met Michael, but these past years have been fantastic knowing him, and my parents actually got married in this church, and of course it's like the last 5 minutes of the rehearsal dinner, everything's going perfect until my stepbrother falls and cuts about right here on his eye. So the next day at the wedding, he has a Band-Aid right here, and he felt pretty down about it. And Michael, being the man that he was, wanted to do anything that he could to make him feel better. So Michael, to the Band-Aid right here. And so for most of the wedding, him and my stepbrother matching Band-Aids. But just thank you so much for being awesome.
Oh, no, we don't, no dead air. Anyway, so next we have Jeff Turrentine back for another try. And appearing with him is the father of Azalea Twining and Mac. And they're going to be doing a number here in a minute. Seriously, I want to shift gears a bit, have an introduction to this that they suggested, which I think is appropriate. When Jeff and Toby agreed to put together something both in honor and in celebration of the ministry of Michael Ellick, It didn't take them long at all to determine which song they would play. In fact, as they both knew immediately, there was really only one song that made complete and total sense. Given what they knew and loved about Michael's rare gifts, his personal passions, and his unique way of viewing the world and the universe, and our place within it. They're here to play it for Michael and for us.
Hey, Jeff, that's not what we were talking about doing. We're not doing that. No. Remember, there's the other. Oh, the other one. Yeah, the other one. Right. Woke up this morning with light in my eyes, then realized it was still dark inside. It was a light coming down from the sky. Don't know who or why. Must be those strangers that come every night. Those saucer-shaped lights leave people uptight. They leave the green footprints that glow in the dark. I hope they get home alright. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Woke up this morning, I was feeling quite weird. I had flies in my beard, my toothpaste is scared. Opened my window, they written my name, said, so long, we'll see you again. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride?
And now, for the follow-up on the Pop Lab segment, Abigail Myers and Jenny Seelig should be doing something. Where are they? Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm sorry, you're working back there. All right.
We just wanted to share some of the things people wrote on the sheets of paper that were up in the front here at the end of the service. So things that were memorable about Sermons with Michael include a quick way to access gratitude. Imagine I've traveled to the past moment in a dream. Take the feelings I'd have in the dream and feel them now. There is power and strength in openness. P.S. Am now committed to watching Doctor Who on demand. If the cross stands in your way on the road to salvation, piss on it. It's the hour of God. confront your apparitions. It's the commons. You built those here and left space for them. And I'll read one more. I do and will remember Michael's way of saying, and now our real ...
Reflect on and embrace your resentments, then let them go. Christ tears down empire, and so should we. Someone suggested that they might not all have been science fiction sermons. I don't get it. They were all sci-fi sermons to me. Isn't that what this was all about? At meditations, the sounds outside are part of the meditation. Wisdom of mystics in the desert will stay with me. And one more. I have never looked at or thought about squirrels and resurrection the same way. Thanks for so many good memories.
And our next performer is once again someone that I mentored. When Ruby showed up here, he was painfully withdrawn. It took me years to get him to come out of his shell, and he's doing fairly well now, and he's going to sing something for you now. Take it.
I was going to do something very serious. I was actually going to sing the theme from Valley of the Dolls. But nobody would have gotten it except for me and Michael and anybody who had been in his office. For years, I sat on Michael's desk. The picture sat on Michael's desk of me in drag, one hand holding the Bible, and one hand holding a copy of Valley of the Dolls. I took the picture years ago, and I gave it to Michael on the day he was ordinated in this church. I also put, instead of putting a scarf around Michael's neck, I put a feathered boa around his neck. I hope both of those are going where you're going. And if they're not, again. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. Portland, OR. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right through the very heart of it. Portland, OR. I want to wake up in a city that always sleeps, to find I'm head of a church. I got new peeps. These NYC blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it. Portland, OR. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. Come on, come through. Portland, that always sleeps, to find I'm head of the church, king of the weird. Next time you see me, I'll have a long beard. My NYC blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it. Portland, if I can make it there, no one will really care. I'm only serious. Come on, come through, Portland.
I'm sure you'll agree he's gotten a lot better.
Right.
So now we finally get to this cake that you've been looking at. We're going to take a break for 10 minutes or however long it takes for you to get. No, sorry. There were revisions in the program and I skipped it. The next person to precede the cake is Michael Connolly, who not only plays the piano, as you saw, but he also composes, conducts, sings, and now he's going to start by talking.
When Michael first walked into this space, everyone quickly began to realize that we were in the presence of someone special. And let me tell you, it was not because of his fashion sense. I mean, I never saw a man with such sad, sad shoes. Seriously. On the plus side, he gave pretty good sermons. He had a dynamic, unique, and creative vision for his ministry here and for what ministry could be. He started some really cool programs. He was reasonably good-looking, blah, blah, blah. No, what made Michael special was his singular ability to make you feel like the most important person in the room. I bet almost everyone here today can remember a moment when Michael did that for you. Whether it was a moment of celebration or a deep, absorbing brainstorming session, or maybe he was commiserating with you over a loss or a particularly challenging personal situation. Whatever the situation, Michael has a way of being present with you that few people in my experience can match. No matter how mundane something might seem, if you share it with Michael, he's into it. And not just a little bit, he's really into it. Not on the surface, not in that Baptist-y, Sunday morning-ish kind of way, the churchy, well, isn't that interesting, I'll pray for you kind of way. No, that's what we might associate with normal pastors. With Michael, he is really with you in the moment. He's on your team. You are the only thing that matters in the equation. And we have been blessed by that gift, and we have probably taken it for granted. And for that, we are sorry. It wasn't all roses and sunshine, to be sure. This is Judson, after all. We are a complicated bunch. And I'm sure Michael had his share of frustrations along the way, but on the whole, you'd never know it from how he maintained his cool and his enthusiasm. I remember his very first sermon. I'm glad Martha brought that up. Back when he was still a community minister. I don't recall it being dry, actually. I thought it was very impressive, full of big ideas and thoughtful provocations. But what I remember most is that was delivered at such a frenetic pace, you almost had to have super titles to keep up. You've come a long way, Reverend. And we've come a long way with you. From the legacy of Bailout Theater and Pop Lab to our involvement in Occupy Wall Street and other movements, to the simplicity of board games at the retreat and impromptu retreats on McDougal Street, to hurricane vigils and post-Sandy walks through a blackened village, powerless, illuminated only by the twin lights of jack-o'-lanterns and friendship. You have given us more than we could ever have hoped for or expected, and we expect a lot around here. To top it all off, you brought us Alana, as if your own brightly shining aura of genuine kindness and joy wasn't enough. You had to marry someone who possessed at least as much, if not more, of the very same qualities. And the two of you shine so brightly together, it's almost impossible to be around you without getting a headache. Really, you're ridiculous. This place, this community will, for a time, be dimmer and gloomier in your absence, and not just because of the scaffolding outside the windows. We are losing not one, but two very special lights, two very important pillars of this community, two very unique and irreplaceable friends. But what you have given us will sustain us, and it is my hope that what we have given you will likewise sustain you. That the roots of love and friendship and community that have grown into your hearts as you have spent these last years with us will not wither, but will thrive like a tree transplanted from one place to another. Let our love and our admiration and our gratitude water those roots as you place them into new soil in a new community. You do not travel to the wild, weird left coast alone, but with all of us at your side. In closing, I have to go back to my first point, and that is your fashion sense, young man. When you first appeared here, I was struck by a rather serious dichotomy. The dichotomy of how such a handsome fellow could walk around in such truly dreadful shoes. So, as my parting gift to you, I offer you a pair of new shoes. They're not flashy, but they have bright, flashy soul. And I think that pretty much sums up you.
We have a song written for the occasion, and it's out. I don't have it, but that's okay. So Michael's going to lead us in that, after which you can help yourself with some cake and some bubbly, and there will be people passing it to expedite that, and then whenever we can, in 10 minutes or so, take your seats for some final toasts. First of all, Christine Bender, who's our moderator of our board, and who spent a great deal of time putting today together. I can witness it by a lot of emails I have. Anyway, she just has a toast and various things, and I'll turn it over to her.
Okay, so at this point, I would love to invite Michael and Alana up here, because when you toast somebody, you have to look at them, right? Whatever works.
Check it out.
Woo!
Now who's got no fashion taste?
So, first I want to toast Alana because, you know, we can't forget her and the incredible impact that she's had on this congregation. I showed up at Judson about 4 or 5 years ago. I had just moved to the city. I just went through a bad breakup and was becoming an adult and trying to find my way in New York City. And one thing that really helped me become part of this community was those flash mobs that we did. We did a couple of them, some in the park and some here during the service. And Alana did the impossible, which is teach me how to dance.
You were good.
But I wanted to just thank her for the way that she brought together old-time Judsonites and newbies like me, and made it possible for me and Bill Altum to exchange condoms at one point during a dance that would not happen normally, you know. So anyways, please raise your glass to her. Alana, thank you so much for your time here and for how you've contributed to this community, and we're going to miss you greatly.
Amen.
And for her, we do have a gift. The button, of course, is getting in the way of the, yeah.
We'll get there. Oh. Nice. This is a dancer standing on top of the Wall Street Bowl. Excellent. Combines both of our passions.
Two loves together, definitely.
Great. Thank you. And to Michael, I think what most of us will miss about you is the personal connections that you forged with all of us, and for each person in this room, that's going to be different. But a straw poll shows that you have helped us through bad breakups, you have saved marriages, you have helped some of us end our marriages, you've built relationships with our children. You've also brought magic and wonder to our faith experience, while at the same time keeping us grounded and engaged and giving us a firm entry point to work on big systemic issues that might seem too much for one person, but you held us accountable and taught us how we could, as individuals and as a community, get involved. And so one of the big things that you taught us was that everything is common. And, you know, Jesus taught us, and you know, you hold us accountable that we have to share and we have to give all of our things away. And not that you were ever one of our possessions, Michael, but I think a lot of us are holding so tight to you. And I'm so glad that you have given us the spiritual guidance that will help us share you with our new friends in Portland, Oregon. And I'm just so happy for you and wish you the absolute best. And I'm going to decline your offer for me to be the moderator out there. I just bought an apartment here, you know, so anyways. Michael, we have, traditionally, churches will put together a purse for a leaving minister. So in this envelope, there's a check with contributions from all of us. We know that you hate money, but we're going to give it to you anyways. And hope that this helps you guys get out west and start the next chapter out there.
Yeah.
I'll just say real quick, thank you very much. But I was joking with friends before this, and I was like, what are they going to do? And I was like, well, we're all Americans. We don't know how to express our feelings, so I bet you anything, sugar and money. Those are the two things. Like, those are the two things. But I actually appreciate it because we live off both those things, so thank you very much. I'll say something later on, but a toast to everybody, real quick, who put all this together. You have those moments in your lives, you don't know what's going on and how it happened. So thank you so much for all the hard work today. Christine, you too. Thank you. Salute.
And so now, oh, Rethel, I'll do this part. You just sit there. Donna, I'd love to call you up to give our final toast of the day.
Michael, you are theologically brilliant, morally fierce, intellectually astute, and emotionally exhausting.
Wait till you're married.
A decade or so ago, you were a Buddhist. For the last decade, you've been something approaching like a Christian. And I'm trying to figure out what's next. And well, how many of you think he should become an imam? Rabbi? Okay, all right, well, you get the point. But you're going to have to do something about your sartorials. And absent that, just grow a long beard. That'll be good. But because I think of you as somebody whose story I really want to see the ending chapter of. And I have a feeling, from Buddhist to Christian to imam to rabbi, that there's a place for you yet, and we'll find it. Here we've had an ordination, a wedding, and now a farewell. This place is soaked in memories for you and for us with you. Here he has been, and now I'm speaking to you, he's been the innovator in residence. Popping labs and flashing mobs, anonymizing excess, sonicizing youth, alienating space. I mean, refusing to get on board with the space use policy. And all along, resisting common sense regularly. He is not really Doctor Who. I know he likes to think that he is, but his real contribution is always as Dr. What and Dr. Why. Those are his questions, and that's what I've learned most from him, is to find out why you're doing whatever it is you think you're supposed to be doing. Why? What? Not just who or how. In fact, you really don't like hows, and you love whos. But what you really are after is why. And I love that about you. Michael drives you deep, always. Usually deeper than you want to go. But if he's around, that's where you're going. What Michael taught me the most is how the way we fight, quote, them, has to stop. Because when we fight them the way they fight us, it doesn't work. And it's been such a gift to me to learn from you what it means to fight and to refuse to have an enemy while doing so. He is, in fact, so good at the big stuff that you forgive him the small stuff. I am going to miss you. I meant that. Personally, terribly. And when we're at the end of 7 years of my not thinking about you every day, because that's as long as we've been together, 7 years every day, we often say to each other that we're like married without the sex. Every day for 7 years, I intend to find a way to miss you, and then it's going to be done, and we'll be done. God bless you. Bye.
I do feel like a benevolent alien comes among you with a magic box. I feel benevolent towards all of you, but I don't feel like one of you on some level. I had nothing planned for this moment, and so I won't try to fake it in some way. People ask how you're feeling and what does it mean, and these are silly questions. My whole life has been here, and now it's retreating into memory and like scripture. And that is the biggest honor ever. I will now become part of the story that Judson tells about itself. And when I grew up, it was those stories that really inspired me. A lot of you know I knew about Judson because people hated Howard Moody, and if those people hated it, I must love it. And then later, you know, Al Carmine's interviews in Penthouse magazine. This is fantastic. A good way for a church to promote itself as far as I'm concerned. I'm completely serious. I have no idea why you're laughing. And this has been amazing. So this is a moment that my brain and the filters can't entirely wrap. I don't have language for it. I'm not going to exactly try, but it is completely an honor. And, you know, I warned Donna already, there are these old church traditions where when you go, you're supposed to cut off and you don't steal sheep. I have zero intention of doing any of that at all. I, in fact, am going to start a protracted campaign to get everyone here to move to Portland, Oregon, and it starts with BB Anderson, and it goes from there. And if you don't think that's the new center of the universe, ask yourself, why am I going there? I'm not joking. So catch up, and I'll see you out there. I love you very much. What's that? Oh, yeah, drink. Can you hand me that bottle? And actually, I want to do a thing that is like, I want to take a drink, but first I want to have one last moment of awkward silence with all of you. Let us just be in this room. Let us pray, and we'll end it by, I'll finish this bottle of Prosecco, or whatever it is. Okay? Let us pray. You don't always remember the first moments inside a place, but you remember the very last. Judson, thank you. Goodbye.